Welcome back to the podcast, and you're listening to the Traveling Pants of a Single Mom. And today I have two wonderful ladies. I have Jessica, J. Lorraine, and by Tia Long. Say hey, y'all.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Okay, yes, that's so much better. Thanks for fixing it. Okay, so we're going to start off by telling the viewers a little bit about yourself. So we're going to start with Jessica. Can you just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do?
My name is Jessica. I'm a designer. I've been doing this for 4 years. I originally started because me and a friend was having a conversation, and and she wanted to she was like, "Oh, we should open a clothing line," and I was like, "That sounds great." And long story short, she was like, "We should sew the clothes," and I decided to learn on my own how to sew, and it just started from there, and then I'm here now.
Was that from like YouTube? Did you like learn how to sew on YouTube?
I did learn on YouTube.
How did you learn? Because like I was saying before, like you're my sister. So for those who don't know, Jessica is my sister. And like I said before, I have never seen Jessica pick up a needle or a thread. So how did you learn?
It was a brand. You know when you find out you have a hidden talent? That's what happened. Like, it's a hidden talent. My aunt always told me that one of our family members was a sewer in Jamaica because, you know, we're Jamaican. And I guess that's where and my aunt Susie, she was a sewer as well, who was Tia's grandma. And rest in peace, Auntie Susie. But yeah, so this is something I discovered in my early 20s. So it's not like a dream of mine. I always wanted to be a lawyer. That's why I went to school for criminal justice.
Right.
But ever since I got into the fashion world and into sewing is just something I love to do.
Nice. And who are some of the up-and-coming artists or artists that you've worked for or have made some clothes for? Yeah.
A million people. I can't really think of any right now. But one of my favorites is Ayana Charm, who's my best friend right now, and we built a relationship from her modeling for me, and it just grew from there. And another favorite would be Cresha Turner.
Oh yeah,
I think she models my pieces really well. Like, she's like perfect, and it's so funny because she's somebody I admired before I even got into this industry. So for me now, dressing people I looked up to, and they're reaching out to me, like big names are reaching out to me, it means a lot to me.
Nice. So we're gonna move on to Tia. So Tia, tell my viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Tia Long. I am a video journalist, producer, music manager, and an owner of a company called Carve in Connecticut. We throw specialty events and just like experiences for the state, because I grew up in a very small state. Connecticut is super small, and we don't really have like an industry or a culture really. I mean, there's some things, but I feel like there was like a huge gap between the vibes for the older generation. They always had like nice galas and things like that, but for my generation, young up and coming entrepreneurs, we didn't have anything going on. So when I moved back from New York and came back to Connecticut, I decided that that's something I would start. So I partnered with a young lady, Ashley Lania, and we created the Power of CT. And since then, it's been really dope. Aside from that, I started in the entertainment industry as a journalist. I went to college for biology. I don't know why. I just knew I wanted to be an eye doctor, which is so random. But when I realized like I had to take biology, chemistry, calculus, and all of that at the same time, I was like, okay, something's got to give. Like, this is not, this isn't what I want to do. So, a really cool story. I was actually working at a supermarket at the time, and a lady named Donna Wright walked in, and she came to my line, and I'm ringing her out. And she's like, do you know any cool like artists or like any cool like music scene out here? Like, I just moved to Connecticut, and I'm just trying to find something. And later I found out that she was NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and Pink's manager.
Oh wow!
So it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. She literally lived around the corner from my house, so she kind of took me under her wing and like showed me what her job was. And I was like, I want to do this. Like, this is exactly what I want to do. I didn't even know that this was a job. Like,
right.
I didn't know it was something I could go to school and like really learn or just take seriously. So literally the next semester, I changed my major from biology. Sorry, Mom. Changed my major from biology to communications, public relations and advertising, and journalism and media. So I was a double major.
Okay.
I graduated with that degree, and I interned as a writer for Yandy Smith's blog site, later for The Source magazine, and now I'm a writer for Paper magazine. Okay.
Yes. So I do want to start off by saying, Tia, I be seeing you, girl, and I admire you. I be looking up to her like, yo, Tia out here in these city streets making it happen. Like, your joint be so professional. You got what is it called? The Power Circle?
Yeah. Well, I have a series that I produce called the Power Circle series.
Okay. What is that about?
So that branched off of my brunch, which is the Power Brunch from the Power of CT. So everything is power. Like that's the title of my brand. And that actually came because I'm like a huge fan of Power, which is so crazy. I don't think anybody knows that, like, because I'm a huge fan of that show. So I was like, I need my company to kind of like emulate this in a way. But so the Power Circle series is a series where I just got a bunch of influencers. I started in Connecticut, and I got all of the cool kids in Connecticut who are doing cool things, and we got together and just had open conversations about the entertainment industry, just culture, just being a woman, being a young Black entrepreneur, things like that. Later, I pitched it to do it in New York, and Sour Patch Kids, which is so random, but they sponsored it and gave us a house to record in. So I got some people from BET, ESPN, and the list goes on, and they're all like very young, like under 30, and we just all had a conversation. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay, so I see that you do like interviews and stuff like that. Who are some of the influentials that you've worked with or interviewed over the years?
Okay, it's a lot. Wyclef was one of the really spontaneous ones. I just went to a show and I was backstage and I had a camera and I was like, can I interview you? So Wyclef, Matthew Knowles, Tank, Seven Streeter, Davies, which is really dope.
Rotimi
from Power. That was like my favorite. That's my most successful.
You did Rotimi. Oh my God, girl.
Yeah, it was an interview. It was fun.
It was fun. Remember I told you that's my crush. I had to put you on to how fine he is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she loves him.
Yeah, that was like, I think that was like around season 2, season 3. So he was just getting warmed up in the show, and now like where he is so crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's get into some other topics. I know Jessica wanted to touch base on some topics. So what are some of the topics you had in mind?
Structure. I think people need to realize that you can have $1 million, but with no structure, that can go away right away. You can have 1 million followers, and that don't mean nothing, because somebody that has 200 followers, they can blow up overnight. I mean, that's proven facts that happen all the time. But I feel like some people be letting certain things get to their head. And even people that, you know, have a little bit of followers, they should be more like, what's the word? They should be more
organized.
No.
Strategic.
They shouldn't look at people with 10 million followers. They shouldn't look at that and be like, oh, I'm not gonna keep going because I don't have a following. Because you can easily build that. You just have to have structure. And I'm I'm trying to get my life.
Right. I was gonna say, how does structure apply to your life?
I mean, because I'm understanding it more and I'm learning that that's what I need to have a successful business. It's helping me a lot. Like, you know, you got to be more organized.
See, you gotta be more organized. Gotta have a stand for your phone.
You gotta be more organized, time management. There's a lot of things that you have to have a successful business.
Yeah, and I feel like also like following is cool, but some of the most important people, period, don't have that big of a following. So I just think it's important for people to know, like, if you're gonna utilize social media and you have a following, you have engagement, there needs to be strategy. Like,
Yes.
How can I utilize this? How can I monetize off of this? I only have 2,500 followers, but I have sold out events all the time. I walk into a room and I know a bunch of people, but I'm not big on that. I do feel like that's something I can get better at. And I think that's kind of what Jessica's explaining is, like, if you notice there's an area in your life that you should work on to be a little bit more successful. And for her, if she feels like, just structure and just having like a plan is something she needs to work on, then just acknowledging that is like the first step.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think we all, especially with trying to become an entrepreneur, you all realize what it is that you need to do to take it to the next level. Like, it's all a learning experience. Because I always tell people my biggest thing was consistency. I was not a consistent person at all. Like, I would not do anything that I knew required consistency. So back before I started to grow, if I wanted to do this when it was the old Natasha, I wouldn't do a podcast or anything that I'm doing, because I knew that it was going to require me to be consistent and always come with new material, new things, and although I may have been capable of bringing in new materials and stuff like that, the fact that people were, just, okay, you have to be consistent. You have to keep going in order to, grow. And that was my biggest thing for life. I didn't want to do anything because I didn't want to be consistent. I wanted to just be able to chill and don't have to worry about nothing. But when you're trying to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, like that literally goes out the door. You have to learn consistency and structure as well, because, honey, those work hand in hand.
It's not easy being your own boss at all. It's not easy.
Yeah, I can't wait till I'm my own boss. It's coming one day.
No, I really like the consistency point, because I just feel like with the internet and everything, people are just trying things out, but they don't understand how much it takes to,
a lot of work.
Like, you cannot stop. Like, as soon as you have a moment, if you drop the ball, like, that's it for you. Like, you're not going to get that moment back. So you have to but you also have to just be aware of your growth. Like, just, I guess, like, looking back a little bit on like your year, because you might not feel like you're in a good space, but you're probably way further along than you were in January.
Yeah.
But you just have to like reflect and be aware of what you're doing and how you've been moving. But consistency, like,
yeah, trust me, I know. Trust me, consistency is everything. What about distractions? So I know that when you're trying to become an entrepreneur, a business owner, or you are one, would you guys consider dating a distraction, or like how do you guys move when it comes to dating? Is it something you guys stay away from, or do you dabble? What's up?
That's a good question.
Very good question. I'll let Tia
I don't think
go first.
Like, I feel like it's important to just be a human regardless. Like, you still have to have a social life. Like, just because you're working doesn't mean you have to completely exit out. I think what's important is like finding someone who understands your lifestyle and wants to add to it, and not, I feel like it becomes a distraction if they are distracting you. Like, they're taking you away from your craft. They're not supportive. They're not, adding value. They're not helping like in any way. That's when it's a distraction. But if you find somebody, like, for me, I'll be real, like, I try to date like a normal person, like, and when I say normal, like a 9 to 5 kind of person. And this one example, I'll give you a perfect example. So I was actually at work in New York, and at the time I was like working a job, but I also was still freelancing. So like things come to me very randomly. Like, I'm in LA, that was mad random. Like, my mom probably just found out about this last week, so that's just like my life. So I was at work, and there was I got called to go cover an event, and the guy was like, he had plans to, I guess, take me out on a date when I got like out of work, and wanted to surprise me with that, and I never like pretty much never got home. So that was like a big, like, he was like hurt, like he really tried to do something nice, and I was just like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, like, I'm grinding right now.
Right.
So just recognizing like that's not a kind of lifestyle he can deal with. So I just feel like finding somebody who like has an entrepreneurial spirit, and they get that you don't clock in, like you're fully clocked in from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep. It's like,
right. I think another thing with trying to become an entrepreneur and dating, you have to be strong-minded. I know a lot of people, and I've experienced this in the past too, where you want to do your own thing, you want to build your brand, but then you want to date. And instead of, maybe that person didn't distract you, but you allow it to by indulging everything into that situation, and then you forget about what you've been doing. So I think it's also important to be in a certain headspace when you're dating as well, when you're trying to build a brand, because if you're not careful and if you're not strong enough, you will drop everything that you're doing to, date and be more involved with that person than the things that you're trying to do. But just let me get some of your feedback with your experience with dating and trying to be an entrepreneur.
I mean, for me, it doesn't mix well, because like, I feel like when I'm dating, I give the person more time than they should get. So I'm trying to focus on myself and figuring out how to balance dating with my business. But for now, I'm not like interested in dating, because I need to fully focus on my baby, which is my business.
Right. And you know what? That is also a good thing, that you're able to acknowledge, that it's not good for you right now. Like you don't know how to balance it. That's a good thing to know and understand, that you have to step away from dating in order to focus on what you need to do. So I do give you snaps up, claps up.
Thank you. But I mean, I still do want friends, though. Everybody needs a friend here and there.
Right. They need a friend.
Take me out to eat one time. You can take me out to eat.
Yeah. Go on little dates, but nothing too serious.
Yeah. Every woman deserves a good body. That's right. A real good thing.
I can't.
Yo, you funny.
Nah, but
no, but some girls get too lost though. It's like if you're not good in what you're doing, like if you're not doing nothing, you can't give a guy your all, because when that guy leaves, you're just gonna be as lost. I mean, that happened to me. Like I gave a guy my everything, and it's like, where are you now? Not with me. And now I gotta figure it out. You know?
But you know what? Sometimes these are lessons and blessings in disguise, because I was that person. Like I would give everything. Like I didn't even have an identity outside of a relationship, and it's so sad. Like when you think back, like I didn't have an identity outside of dating. Like if I was with Tom last year, I was who Tom wanted me to be. You know what I'm saying? I was that. And then if I was with Dick this year, I'm who Dick wanted me to be, and that's who I was. You know what I'm saying? And the last situation for me was like, no, you need to find yourself. Now, had I not been going through that, I probably would never have found myself, because those are the situations that kind of broke me and was like, all right, Tasha, you don't know who you are. Like, you don't know what you like. You don't know what you can do. You don't know what you're capable of. You just don't know, because you're so consumed in other things. You're dating and you're consumed in that. But that last heartbreak was like, yo, you need to step back and really reflect on who you are. And if I didn't, I would have never birthed Miss Black Wall Street and the Traveling Pants. Those hurts eventually became a blessing, because now I'm not where I want to be, but I'm damn sure ain't where I was. And
That's
where
true.
I was is not where I wanted to be. But sometimes you have to experience certain things to kind of like strengthen you.
That's true.
I feel like women should really understand like the importance of being by yourself. Like I love to be by myself. Like ask Jessica, I don't be trying to hang out with you. I like to be by myself because in that time is like when you're really like, especially when you're lonely, like that lonely feeling. Once you realize that's a beautiful thing to be alone and to like enjoy your own company. And not like you need attention or you need to be talking to somebody. You need to talk to God a little bit more. Like when I moved out of Connecticut, that was like my biggest, that was like the most lonely. I told Jessica the other day, I was like, none of my friends came to see me. Like I was completely alone. So I went to work, I came home, and I just was by myself kind of every day. And then eventually I started reading more, I started looking more into things, and the level up started happening during that time when I was not with somebody constantly. I just feel like people need to embrace it.
Right. And that's what that solitude is very important. That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid to embrace the loneliness. I always felt like I needed someone, and that solitude is very important. Like that is the time you find out who you really are. And I always tell people, my beautiful artwork in the back, that solitude is what made me realize that I can even make something like this. Like I'm surprised every time I'm like, yo, you did that? I did that. And that's what solitude did. That's what the loneliness did, and made me reflect on the things, the talents that I have. You know what I'm saying? So I agree to you. It's super important. I enjoy being alone, but I still, if a woman have a good body, that's fine. I am good friend.
Cannot. Can we just name the live this?
Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about because the Wilks family, which is my stepdad's side of family, which is who I grew up with. I grew up with my, stepdad's side of the family, and you guys have such an amazing family dynamic. I mean, it's off the hook. Every time I see a video, now that I'm in Jersey, now that I'm in Florida, every time I see a video of you guys coming together, it's like a life. Yo, y'all be in there, family, kids, parents, kids, grandkids, cousins, aunts, uncle, and y'all just be in there vibing and having a good time. So for you guys, how did your family dynamic shape who you are? Like, because a lot of people don't have that.
That's a good question. I feel it. Well, I'll answer. For me, because my last name's long, but of course I have like the Wilks side as well. So the Wilks side is the biggest part of my family. Like, of course, I have my mom's side of the family, which is really small and very intimate. But we have the bigger side of the family that I feel like is just as intimate. I always felt like I was the outsider because I lived in Connecticut and, I was with my mom's side of the family a little bit more. But now that I get older, like, it's a beautiful thing because I feel like everybody... It's so important coming from Jamaica because it's like you kind of living and doing things for a bigger purpose. And I feel like that's what our family has like instilled in us, like especially with like the foundation and things like that. I think about that a lot. I don't know if you guys do. I know probably Marsha does. But I think about like, when they all get a little bit older, like it's up to us to kind of take over and make sure we keep this energy going, make sure that we keep the family reunions going. Like,
right. Well, so who do you guys think will be the Auntie Zungi of the family?
Honestly, probably Renee.
Of course.
You know what? Yes.
Renee.
Renee.
Or Dion too. Dion or Renee. Both of them.
True.
Yeah, because it's like I'm good with like the business side of things. Like I'll probably be like the secretary, or you know what I'm saying. But I feel like the levels of the family company, that just kind of showed us how important it is to like grind and have your own and not just like work for anybody and that's all you depend on. Like we don't depend on anybody else.
Absolutely. What about you, Jessica? How has being a part of such an amazing family dynamic shaped your life?
It shaped my life a lot because, you know, the family is so supportive and loving, and, you know, family support is the best thing. And I have a bunch of cousins that support me and my business, and, you know, that means a lot to me.
And
especially, and like Marsha, she's all, you know, we both lived in New Jersey, so she was always there for me with little stuff. All my cousins are always there for me, honestly. But, you know, that really helps you a lot. Family support helps you a lot.
Yeah, it's a big thing because when I had the Power Circle series premiere, like I invited some of my cousins, but when Jessica ever walked through the door, I was like, oh no. Like, you know what I'm saying? The family, like having family support you is a whole different level. Like having strangers and just like friends and associates come, like of course they're looking for something to do, but for family to go out of their way and like drive to come and support you or pay for your services or something like that, like that's beautiful. So
that's big.
Like,
yeah. I'm a step Wilks, but I can definitely
you're a Wilks.
I can definitely say that the one thing I have learned from the Wilks family is just the beauty of having a family that you can eat together, dance together, party together. You know what I'm saying? Like you come together and it's always a good time. It's never no mixed up blend. We just out there just trying to live our best life. The last experience I had was when I went up like 2 or 3 years ago. Jessica, you would be right before you moved to California, and we went to Connecticut. We went to Auntie Zungi's house, and they had a cookout. I don't even remember what holiday it was, but I still have the videos, and we out there dancing in the backyard. Literally, when I showed people the video, I was like, listen, this is all family. It was so crowded, like as if we were like at
the club,
a club or something. We was outside of Auntie Zungi's house, and we were like, I was going around with the camera and we was smushed out there dancing. I was like, listen guys, this is all family. But being a part of the Wilks family I definitely showed me like a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful family dynamic. And I do appreciate the family, for being that way, for always supporting each other. A big shout out to Marsha. She be supporting everything. You know what I'm saying? Deanna, you know what I'm saying? Everybody. Tashawn, shout out to the whole Wilks crew. Auntie
Renee, Nicole.
Yes, Nicole. Everybody just stand by each other.
But no matter it's too much of us. Gabby, it's too much cousins.
It's too much to
all
name.
Supported.
And the guys too. We don't give them no.
Yes, Sean.
Sherna, I love you, Sherna.
So Jessica, you made a big step. You touched base on it a little bit, but you made a big step about 2 years ago. You left your support system, your family, and you moved to California. How has that journey been for you?
I mean, it's been a rough road, a lot of ups and downs. Finding out people, it's been rough, but I mean, the journey is getting better each day. So I thank God for even allowing me to live in California, having my own apartment. Like that's something I always dreamed of. Not even just for sewing. Like I originally before wanted to do acting and modeling, but I mean I found out that's not for me. But I always wanted to live in Hollywood, and to be living in Hollywood, you know, that's a big step and it's a blessing. So I'm grateful. But being out here without family, that's hard. Like really, really hard. Because I literally have no family out here. Just one cousin, but he's always busy. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what would you tell people that's young, that's out here trying to make it in these city streets? What would you tell them, like from your firsthand experience, if it's something that they want to do? What's your word of encouragement?
I would say keep going. Don't give up. It's a hard road. It's never going to be as easy being your own boss. But keep going. Like, you'll make it. If you're consistent, you'll make it.
Nice.
And don't depend on anyone at all.
Yeah, you can't.
Don't depend on anyone. don't think everybody's your friend, because that's not it.
Yes.
When you have a business, this is my little thing to myself, and I'll tell anybody this. When you start a business, you're going to start off with, this is just an example. You're going to start off with 5 friends, right? You're going to start off with 5 friends. 2 of those friends are just going to genuinely support you. You know, they're not going to be under every post, but you know they support you. Then you're going to have 1 friend out of the 5. You're going to have 1 friend that's going to end up doing the same thing you doing, but it's genuinely, like, it's not to step on your toe or anything. Then you want to have the 4th friend. They're going to end up doing what you're doing. Y'all going to fall out. They're going to end up doing what you're doing maliciously. So you have to be careful who your friends are.
Yes.
You have to be careful. And if somebody try to step on your toes, just wish them the best. Don't have any hate in your heart for anybody, because everybody's journey is different.
Absolutely.
But you just got to know who your friends are.
Yes. That's something major that you said, because you just got to do what you got to do for yourself. Like, not everybody's going to have your back. Not everybody's going to be there to support you, but you have to stand strong and firm in what you want and what you want to do. Like, this whole transition for me it's been a journey, you know, like some people don't like what I'm doing. Some people feel like who she thinks she is, like, why she feel like, you know, some people support me. Some people support me in silence. You know, people that I don't even know that supporting me might shoot me a little message in my inbox like, hey, I see you, keep pressing, keep going. And you don't even know that these people are there. And the people that you expect to support you, they don't. You know what I'm saying? But what remains consistent, you have to keep your focus on what you want to do. And you just got to keep pushing.
Exactly.
You can't
don't worry about no one.
What me and Jessica, what we said the other day, you cannot watch other people's success too. Because, you know, sometimes we get caught up in that. We see people doing the same things that we're doing. Maybe they started after us and they way up here and you still here. And then you want to look and say, dang, you know, like, I've been trying, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, and I ain't make it nowhere. This person just started yesterday, and look at them. Everybody had their time to shine. And you got to keep focus on what you doing. Like, that's super important. Because sometimes you can lose sight. You can lose sight of it. How about you, Tia?
What was the questions, like a word of advice or
encouragement? Yes.
You guys really hit it like on the head. I think the biggest thing for me, I would say, is like I said this before, but I feel like just be strategic. Like, for me, something I do, like every Sunday, I plan out my week. So regardless of how things may come at me, like, I'm on a mission. So, like, even last year around December, I planned out my whole year for like one project that I was doing. I wrote quarter by quarter by quarter, like, what I wanted to get done. And without even watching that, without even referring back to it every month, I have hit every goal. So once you like write it down, like, I know that sounds so cliche, like people say all the time, but it's so real. Like, if you write something down, subconsciously you're gonna be working towards that. If it's real to you. And I also want to say, originality is like becoming like few and far between, like the imposter syndrome, like you mentioned, like people always trying to do something that you're doing, or they see, oh, this is working, let me just try this out. Oh, I could sell a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not finding it from within. Like, everything I've done, I got because I'm like laying on my bed late at night, and then I'll get like a crazy idea, and I'm like, oh, and then I start working. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real. That's coming from God. Like, if it's coming from your gut, and like you can't even put it into words, like where this came from, but you just know it's something that needs to be done. Like, that's when you're gonna have your most success. You're not gonna have your most success by copying somebody. No. You're not even going to do it like me. At the end of the day, like, you know, you're gonna be trying to follow somebody's footsteps, and eventually you're going to step on your own toes.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like people just really need to know that everybody's creative, but not everybody is a creator. Like, everybody can't execute. So figure out what it is that you can execute on and
stick to that
and do that, because
never step on toes.
It's embarrassing to watch.
Absolutely. I think that is a very, very, very good point, Tia, because everybody just trying to copy the next person. And all of my ventures that I've done, because, you know, this year, 2018, is where my success started, or my journey started. And everything that I've done, the book bag drive, literally, like you said, I was just laying there and it was like, yo, Tasha, you know what? For school, back to school, you need to do a book bag drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just came to me. I didn't think about, okay, once I put it out there that I want to do the book bag drive, I got some people saying, you know, there's a lot of people doing book bag drives. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure that people are going to come out and support what you do. But you know what? If it's from God, it's going to be the support. You're going to, it's going to happen.
Oh, definitely.
Like, but that's what happened when you do stuff because you see other people doing it. Things turn out differently. But when it's of God, honey, he be moving mountains.
It's going to work.
He be moving mountains, because up to now, I don't even know how them 70 book bags that I had, I still don't know how they got taken, but they took. Okay?
Yeah.
They got took.
Yeah, right.
You should talk about your what did you do that went viral?
The book, the hair store.
Yes. You was just doing a good deed, and look.
I really was just minding my business. Like, this girl that braid my hair, she told me about a Black-owned hair store in my area, and I went on a Sunday. I was like, you know what, the store probably closed, but I'm gonna just drive by there just to see the location, so when I'm ready, I could go. So when I drove by there now, it was open. So I was like, let me go inside. But on the way to the hair store, I was in my head like, all right. Because this is when I started trying to be more open and tell people what I do. And, you know, so at that time, it was just my podcast. And I used to do Black-owned business shout out at the end. So long story short, when I got in the store, after telling myself I'm not going to do it, I end up telling the lady, or asking the lady, like, hey, I do a Black-owned business shout out on my podcast. Do you mind if I would do one for your store? She was like, sure. But something told me when I got home, I don't even know, because I ain't never do this shout out like this ever. Something told me when I got home to do a video. So I did a video like, hey guys, you know, it's a Black-owned hair store in Altamont. You guys need to come check it out. This is the address, the location, you know, blah, 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 just giving details. And I posted on a Sunday. I'll never forget the day. I posted on a Sunday, and like, it got a few views, nothing serious, but I think one vital person shared that video, and that video went viral. I think it was like 125K views and over 3,000 shares. And literally, that wasn't even my intent. Like, I just really was trying to let the people know that it was a hair store up the street. You know
right.
But like Jessica mentioned in the beginning, you can have 200 followers and end up being making an impact. Because at the time, my Facebook page only had like 500 followers, and these were all family and friends, high school, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Now my following has grown. That video actually birthed Miss Black Wall Street. From that video, it was like, all right, here's Miss Black Wall Street, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, you never know how you can impact, and that's just by being original. That was originality. Yeah. I didn't go on rehearsed or trying to like, okay, well, last week Susie did that and that joint went, but you know what I'm saying? It was literally just, let me go on and tell these people about the hair store. But it's crazy how things can just blow up out of nowhere. Cause that's exactly what that video did. It just literally blew up. I mean, nothing else blew up like that, but hey, it doesn't matter, because
it doesn't matter. You don't know who's watching you. You don't know who's watching you, so you never know. That's why you just got to keep doing, and you got to keep going. You got to be consistent.
Right. You have to do it for yourself at the end of the day. Like, I used to worry about, oh, people not really listening to the podcast. You know, maybe I should stop. But then I realized, hey, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It brings
do it for you.
Right. So no, if only one people listen and only one person, if one person listen and that one person get touched by it, I did my job. But I know that I love it. So I'm not gonna stop doing what I do because other people don't understand my journey. Mm-hmm. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Facts.
So Tia, I still want to hear more about your story because you've been doing so much, girl. I need more me.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like every time somebody asks me about like what I do, it's so hard to explain because I juggle a lot, but I can't stop, like, because I'm so talented in so many different ways. But the one thing that's like over everything that I do, the one thing I do is like just help companies and people be organized. So like that's why I created the event company, because outside of what I do for just our company, we just actually got hired this week for to work for the state of Connecticut for them to hire us for an actual event. Like, mm-hmm. So we are in charge of like making it happen for them. Mm-hmm. And I also manage an R&B artist. His name is Perry, Pxrry. And I just started this January. And since then, his song is like in rotation on the radio in Connecticut. His single So Bad is like going crazy. We shot like just 3 videos. And since then, you know, his fan base has grown and his listening and everything is just incredible. They're now like in Atlanta gonna record, you know, some more singles and things like that. But my job has just been to like get him out there, which is I utilize the connections that I made in journalism and just being in the music industry for this. So yeah, I just do a lot of different things, but I'm really trying to get more into video. So that's why I produced the series, because I just wanted that experience. So just doing a little bit more directing, kind of staying behind the camera. Like I've done the interview thing, and I'm kind of only going to do interviews if it's like a big thing. Like if it's somebody huge, like that's what I'm going to do. Or if like Paper hires me to, you know, do a story on somebody, then I'll do it. But at this point, I feel like I've grown and have created a reel already, a video reel with a lot of interviews and things. So I'm kind of stepping aside from that, but that's still a part of who I am. That's why my brand is by Tia Long. But I'm switching the brand a little bit to like Young Legend, because I feel like a lot of people were calling me that. Like so many people calling me like Legend. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like I'll run with this. Yeah. Now I got it on t-shirts. Yeah. Like I'm not playing no games. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to like inspire people, because I just feel like I didn't have like, I had people on the internet to look up to, but that's why I try to get out and like really meet people who want to do this. I get hired to speak on panels often for people to kind of just like hear, you know, the behind the scenes of what I do and things like that. I will fly anywhere to come talk to anybody. Just book me, fly me out. Yeah. But yeah.
That's what I'm talking about right there. I'm trying to get booked and flown. Wait, what the girl said? Flown out. I'm trying to get booked and flew out.
I'm trying to get flued out. I only got flued out one time.
I'm trying, like, for real, I'm trying to be booked and flued out. So if anybody interested in being on the podcast, I'm trying to tell you, I want to be flued out, flued in. You know, like, please hit me up. Trust and believe I'm ready. So, few more questions, and I'm gonna let you guys go. I want to know, because Tia, what you do now that's your job, right?
Yes,
this is my full-time entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you, how does it feel? Because I personally have a 9-to-5 still, so my brand has not taken it to the next level where I am yet, but I'm claiming it in the name of Jesus. Mm-hmm. By the end of 2019, you know what I'm saying, I will be being flown out and doing my thing. So how does it feel to be young entrepreneurs? You guys are doing your own thing.
like she mentioned, like it's like a up and down. It's really not as easy as it may. Like it looks fun or whatever, but you have to be disciplined. You have to wake up and give yourself a schedule, because then otherwise you're wasting 3 days just kind of sitting around trying to figure out what you're about to do. Like, no, you have to set your week, set your goals, and just try to figure out a way to make money, because it's up to you how you're gonna live. I'm blessed because I do have my family to support me, and that's beautiful. I feel like not a lot of people have that. A lot of people have a lot more responsibilities that they have to look after. But while I'm in this situation, I don't have super big bills and I'm still young, is why I'm kind of, taking the leap right now. And I'm glad I did. I hope anybody who's watching this that is young and
take
they
that leap.
Just do it, because you're going to I don't know, I can't even explain it. Elated. Yeah, you're gonna feel like elated. It feels like freedom.
Yeah.
When you're just doing something every day and you wake up to like that
don't
email.
Gotta answer to no one.
You don't have to answer to anybody, but you also wake up to that email that's just like a little bit of a confirmation that you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a feeling that I can't describe, and I just want to do that for the rest of my life. So that's why I just decided. I literally just quit my job. I feel so bad, but I've never been somebody who could work a regular job. Like, I've never held a job for like 5 years or 3 years. Like, I always had had a job for like a year and, moved on to the next thing, because it just wasn't for me. I can't just sit at the desk and talk about trash all day. So I quit, and I just decided that I was going to give myself a year to kind of just prove to myself that it's something I could do. And I'm now like a year and a half in, and there is days where I'm like, dang, I should just apply to a little job, let me just, but then as soon as I get there, I get hired for something. So it happens all the time. I think you just have to stay focused, and as long as we keep talking about God, but I just feel like it's so important. As long as you have God and you, she just wrote it down because that was going to be her point. As long as you pray through it and you're focused, and that's something that you truly have a relationship with, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be all right.
Yes.
When you're your own boss, God has to be first. Period. Yes. He has to be, because once you make it, he wants to make sure. And I was talking to my little cousin the other day, and he brought this point to me, and it's true. He wants to make sure that you're not taking self-praise for your success. You have to know that he's the reason for your success. Period.
Reason for the season.
If you don't have him with you,
I can't.
It's just not going to go anywhere. It's always going to stop. Proven fact. Prayer works.
And you just have to have confidence. I feel like confidence is the biggest flattery for God.
Confidence.
If you're walking in knowing that what you're doing, there's a purpose and a reason for it, and you live in that, that's you can't lose. You see the most successful people, Beyonce is just Beyonce.
She's confident.
She's been Beyonce, and y'all were gonna wake up and figure it out one day, but she's just been herself the whole time.
Right.
So.
Yes, and she don't care about
other people, what people think. That's how you gotta be out here.
That's when you fail. When you caring about other people, when you're watching. Sorry. When you're watching the time that you spend watching another person is the time that you could have spent thinking of how you can better yourself and your craft.
Right.
So always remember that. Don't watch another man, because he could be watching you.
Right.
He could be watching what you're doing while you're watching what they're doing. And I have a problem with that. I'm a designer, so I'd be sometimes worried about other designers, oh, he's doing this and that. And they be taking my designs and stuff, but it's I should be flattered because, other people are looking at my stuff, copying. So I don't need to be watching other people and worried because I'm doing something right.
Right. Absolutely. So, what do you guys want to leave anybody with one last word? Did we say about last words? One last word or no?
I don't know about last word.
Last word.
And
follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. College, I'm not saying you shouldn't go, but it's not for everyone. And don't let your family force you into going if you don't want to go, honestly. Caribbeans, they want to make sure you go to college, you're a nurse, you're a lawyer or whatever. Right. But do what you want to do.
Nice.
I think people should learn how to
follow their mind.
I mean, I think something I want to leave people with is like learn how to communicate, like learn how to network.
Yeah,
that's a really hard thing. It's not easy because
Yes.
I'm still learning. Like, just be prepared before you go in a room, like who you're going to meet or who you want to go talk to. Like, be prepared before you talk to them. Also, if you're sending an email, like, just email etiquette. Like, these are just little things that I had to learn over time, that once I started learning how to talk and how to be persuasive and send the right emails when things started happening.
That's hard though.
Because what you're like living, and you like fake it till you make it. Like, act like you know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because if you sound like you're questioning it, or you hit me up like, yo, I have this idea, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what's the details? You're like, oh, I'm still working out the details. Why are you hitting me up about your idea and it's not complete?
Crazy.
Like, what is that about?
You want to know what's so funny? I did that recently, and that was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta be prepared.
Really,
you got to fake it till you make it. My mentor, shout out to Dr. Lakeisha Ross. When I started under her wings, we did an event, and she said to me, "Let me tell you something. Don't act like you don't know. If somebody asks you your prices, you let them know that you'll get back with them in 7 days. If you come in there like you know, like you've been doing this for years."
That's true.
So, and that was like one of the best advice anyone could give me, because when I started off, I was so timid, and the first thing I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just learning," or "I just started, so bear with me. I'm trying to get this right," And I would always say that, and then that's taken away from your confidence in what you could do. But she told me, don't even fake it till you make it, honey. You come in there, you do what you got to do, and once you're done, if you have any questions, you reflect on them. You try to research it. You write it down. If you don't have your prices, that'd be a perfect time to get your prices together. You know what I'm saying? So yes, fake it till you make it.
For sure.
What Shernet just said is true. You could get a business degree. If I could go back in time, I would have got a business degree. But I wasn't thinking that far.
I've been thinking about
just make sure if you're like going to college, like, because it's the biggest scam in the world. Like, my kids are probably not going to college unless they know exactly
what they want
to do,
and
ain't who they are, and they've had some time. I just feel like going to college when you're 18 is just not right. Like, I'm just upset. I'm in so much debt, and like, honestly, everything that I've done and that I'm doing has been off of relationships. But I mean, I also would say like going to college helped me, like, how to write, read, communicate, and things like that. But yeah, so I feel like, if you're gonna go, just utilize the resources. Like, they have like free equipment, like they'll let you borrow cameras and things like that. I didn't use any of that. I didn't really like, I hung out with my friends. I didn't kind of, meet other people, go outside of my circle and just, network with people. Like, that's what college, I think, is about. And I just feel like kids go from high school where they're mandated to be here, and then they go to college. Straight there, and that you're paying for this, and this is actually a business, and it's like, you can really talk to your professors and really get a job as soon as you get out of school if you're doing the right thing. So I just feel like schools are not preparing people for what they're about to get into. $50,000 worth of debt. Okay.
Yeah, they're not.
I feel like it's not a scam, but that's like, you go from, like you said, being told when you go to lunch, the bell ring, it's time to go, you pick up your books, you got lunch period at this time, this, that, and then you go to an atmosphere where you make your own decision. It's time to go to class. Either you can go to class or you can chill in the student lounge. You know what I'm saying? You can go to class and you can chill with your friends. That's like you have to be really
ready for that.
Ready for that. Because most times when people go off to college, they looking for that freedom. So now you get that freedom, and it's like, yo, I'm free. You know what I'm saying? So whereas in high school, you couldn't chill in the hallways. If it was time to get to class and that bell ring, you got people out there, what you doing? It's time you got a hall pass. But in college, you go straight from that atmosphere to being in college where it's like everybody chilling in the student lounge. Who knows who's supposed to be in class and when, where, and why? You know what I'm saying? That's totally a setup. Totally.
But I think the way she said it's just not for everybody. I feel like some people know, and they go and get the work done and meet the right people and leave with a good job, like the job of their dreams kind of thing. And then if you're just like a creative and you go to school for art, and it's like, but you could have just found the art from it. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's complicated.
But
more
But
doctor.
like
So,
Jessica said, she not saying don't go. You just got to know what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
we're not an advocate like don't go to college. You know what I'm saying? But just make sure when you go to college, you know what it is that you want to do, so that when you're there, you can remain focused on the goal. Because most people who know what they want, like I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. That's what I'm going to. Most times they going straight for it. I want to be a pharmacist. They going straight for it. So just kind of like really know. Well, even though that's hard, because for me, I never knew what I wanted to do. Like I'm just starting to figure it out. And for real, and that's one thing just I used to say about Travis. Travis knew from like Jump Street where his passion lies. You know what I'm saying? And I always was like, damn, but what I'm supposed to do, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not even easy knowing what you want to do. But it's best to try to figure it out before you start spending them thousands of dollars, you know, going to college. So
we should ask them if they have any more questions, or if they have to say before we close.
Yes. So for the viewers, we are about to close, but does anybody have any questions for these beautiful young ladies before we go?
Let us know.
Yes.
And if not, you can like follow me. I'm on everything at by Tia Long BY.
That's what I was about to say. Let each of y'all let them know where they can follow you and, you know, see more of what you guys do.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Twitter, everything at by Tia Long, BYTIALONG. My website is bytialong.com. I doubt anybody here is from Connecticut, but if you are, I also own powerofct.com.
Yes, come on. Go ahead.
Mine is J. Lorraine Design on, designs with an S on everything. And my website is www.jlorainecustomdesigns.com.
Nice.
If you guys see any pieces you like, you can email me or you can order directly on the site.
Yes. So guys, you check out these young ladies.
It's a fire jacket for me and my cousin, and it was beautiful. You could check it out.
So good.
Yes.
Hi, Auntie Rosie. I love you.
Hi, Rose. Hi, Mom.
That's why Auntie Rosie was in here like, listen.
Reminding me of
reminding you who used to Spice. To SWV, I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yo, she's funny
right there.
Supportive mother is very important.
Yes, supportive family is important. Period. Like to know that you have the support of your family is major. So, Jessica, Sharnette said she liked the B look.
Thank you. We went out and we got so much compliments on our jackets.
So many compliments.
It was really crazy.
But they kept touching me. With the fur, they're like, ooh, I like
the fur. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Jessica and Tia, for coming onto the show and blessing me and blessing my viewers with what you guys do. It is very important for us to see and hear young entrepreneurs out here making it happen in these city streets. As Tia said, if you don't figure it out, you'll be like my old ass trying to figure it out years later, because they're young and living their best life, and I'm old now and I'm trying to figure it out and, you know, starting to get into the swing of things. So y'all try to figure it out early, and it's good to hear these young ladies talking about their passion, what they're doing, and how it's working for them. So they already gave their information. If you want to hit them up and find out more about what they do, you go ahead and go onto their website. And this episode will, remember, for those who come on late, didn't catch the whole thing, didn't have time to stay in, all my episodes are on YouTube, edited, and so you can listen to it straight through with no interruptions. So make sure you guys check out my YouTube channel, subscribe, The Traveling Pants of a Single Mom, and just please support me. I'm trying to make it out here in these city streets. Let y'all know.
You're the next Oprah. I always say it.
Jessica, you love it. So on YouTube is T as in Tom, T as in Tom, P as in Paul, O as in Oscar, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, M as in Mary podcast. So go and subscribe to my channel so you guys can catch up on all the great episodes that I've had thus far. Thanks so much for watching the Traveling Pants of a Single Mom. Peace.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
No
having
problem.
We're going to the jacuzzi.
We're going.
Wait, what's the name of this episode? Every woman should. Wait. Every woman deserves a good body. That's right. I need good friend. Bye.
Later.
Later.